Hey everyone, this is Brainwaves, and in this video I'm going to show you how to design compressed bases like VCTRE, STVSH, or DêTRE. This is the project file that I created for this video.
You don't give up.
As always, this project file is available on my Patreon, so check the link in the description if you're interested in that. And let's get started. Drums, nothing too special. I have 2 layers of a snare. The second layer is a little bit panned to the right, and it's 8 milliseconds ahead of the grid with track delay. And hi-hat is 15 milliseconds ahead of the grid with track delay. It has a little bit of auto panning here, and I have a reverse snare just to kind of accentuate a little bit of the snare hit. Besides pretty familiar trap type of beat. Then for the synths, I have quite a few things here, but I'll break that down for you. I have this fill. So first oscillator is doing FM from beat to basic shapes. I have a sub oscillator and some post processing. So let me just go one by one. Check out that I also have an LFO that is doing this movement, and that is being modulating a lot of these parameters. So in there, FM from B is around 56%. The attack is at like 116. Trigger mode, hyper dimension, distortion with tube mode, drive at 49 being modulated, compressor, multiband, and some filtering. Mix is at around 75, and the cutoff is being open with this LFO. So yeah, you can tell how FMing this definitely helps. This EQ just cutting the low end and boosting a little bit of around 4000. I have a sub layer, which is just a sine wave in Serum with a little bit of distortion, and that's for the first fill. Then I have this type of reverse fill, has some saturator on it. I got a sub oscillator in here, some noise being modulated by this LFO, basic shapes, harmonic series in there, level being modulated, FM at around 18%, this is at around 22%, and this shaping here on trigger mode 1/4, harmonic series, 7th wavetable position. And shout out to the YouTube comment that told me that harmonic series actually is on Serum. I just looked for it pretty fast and couldn't find it, and I just assumed it wasn't there, but it definitely is in here, digital harmonic series. So yeah, you know, it happens. And then attack at 193. Then I move to my effects, hyper dimension, distortion on post mode. This type of distortion mix being a little bit modulated, compression, multiband, making it really gritty, and this filtering. A little bit of reverb with the mix being modulated And that's pretty much it. Saturator in here, 971, 8, playing a little bit with bass, sine fold. That's it for that fill. Now let's get to the sound, which is my favorite. So once again, saturator, let me just mute that. I'm automating the rate of the LFO just to change the pace a little bit. And let me go in here and show you. I have a sub once again. Even though I'm cutting the low end, adding this sub oscillator really helps with the sound that I'm trying to achieve. I have this noise oscillator. All of it is being modulated by this. Basic shapes, sine wave, FM, level, harmonic series in here. I have a little bit of a master tune modulation with this second envelope. So every time that I hit a note, there's a little bit of a pitch drop, basically, or a pitch change. And then on my effects, hyperdimension, distortion tube this time, compressor, filtering, which is kind of keeping the sound under control type of way, and then reverb. And for reverb, I'm doing something a little bit interesting. I have this second LFO with this rate. It's modulating the mix of the reverb, so it makes it have like a nice reverb build up type of thing. So let's hear it. You know. So yeah, I thought that was something interesting that I heard on a song from these guys. So I thought I would do something similar. As I said, I'm modulating the rate, so the second time the synth happens, I change the rate to triplets. And yeah, just to keep it interesting. The lead has some saturator, as I said, sine fold, just this parameter is going on. And that's it for that one. When I had this one and I had the sub, I was like, yeah, this is cool. But it was kind of missing a little bit, so I was like, okay, let's create another layer. And I did this low mid layer. And it was like, yeah, much better. So let me just go to that layer specifically. I'm just gonna take this out and show you why I did that and how it's helping me basically. So you can see that it's pretty simple sine wave. This FMing is actually doing nothing, so I'm gonna take that out of there. Nothing else in here, just some modulation of the level with that LFO. Pitch drop still in there, then distortion and filtering. Pretty quiet without the effects, so let me jump into that. First I put a an EQ just because I wanted to focus on distorting like the sub frequencies. Then I put the amp on a rock preset, and now we're getting a little bit of distortion. Then I put saturator, and then I put this. So still is a little bit of a subtle layer, but it definitely helps. And then for my subbing here is pretty much a sine wave, a little bit of distortion and the filtering. So then the second part of the drop, I have this other sounds happening. those ones, let me show you what I did. First, something to note is that I have a lot of things in the group, so without that, sounds like so. This utility is helping shaping the sound a little bit. This amp, making it grittier, making it louder, making it noisier, making it sub less, if that's a word, I don't know. And then I have a separate sub, which I already covered. And yeah, I'm gonna mute. And actually, just to be as transparent as possible, I'm gonna mute this for the moment. So, sine wave, 50% of FMing from B, harmonic series. There you go. Then on the effects, I got distortion, compression, and reverb. This time I'm not using the multiband. A little bit of modulation in here. And then where it's at for this sound is the post-processing, honestly. OTT, 2 of them. Depth at around 47. I think for both. Yeah, the rest is pretty much default values. Saturator, sine of hold. EQ, just doing some crazy EQs. And then this. There you go. Now let's go to the noise layer. So without anything, you can see that the post-processing is pretty similar to the last one. That's not too bad, actually. That's kind of fun. Sub, noise, basic shapes. I'm not using this, so 43 in there, 44. Then in here, this type of distortion, multiband compressor, pretty much it for that one. And the OTT, same value as before, saturator, and some EQ, and then this, just to top it off. And I have, lastly, this fill. That's without the post-processing on the group. Then with it, sounds like this. Much grittier. Cutting low mid, cutting here and boosting here. Two sine waves. Second one octave up, sub, FMing, leveling. There you go, that around there. and then hyperdimension, distortion, tube, and doing this modulation, compressor, and filtering. And then this to top it off. Yep, that's pretty much it. So as I said in the beginning, this whole thing is available on my Patreon. And also, for a limited time, I'm offering private Zoom music production lessons to everyone who joins my Subsonic Scientist tier on Patreon. So once again, link below. I hope I see you there. And thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and I hope I see you around.